This is a battle in the Team Dignitas Invitational tournament. I have uploaded most of AggonyDuck and Balor for Agartha's final games, but I did not upload this game because AggonyDuck didn't save it. So it's Armenia versus the Boii, and the map is Nemetocenna. Should be a good map for Armenia. Still, the Boii have all the tools needed to deal with what Armenia can bring, and Armenia has to really micro well with its cavalry and its skirmishers to make this work. So for the Boii, 6 heavy horse, 3 levy freemen, 2 Celtic skirmishers, a mix of axe warriors, Celtic warriors, and sword followers, and then an oath sword. For Duck is wisely deploying far back here, so it will take the Boii some time to engage him. He has 3 Persian cavalry on each flank, backed up by hillmen. In the center he has his Skartli X-Men, then he has a Royal Cataphract General and 3 horse archers. So both armies should be more than capable of dealing with each other, but the problem that Armenia has is that it has to rely on its Persian cavalry, but the heavy horse is going to match up very well against the Persian cavalry, and if he keeps his heavy horse close to his infantry, then it's going to be super hard for Armenia to get in and do the damage that Armenia needs to do. Also, screening with the levy freeman is going to be difficult for Armenia to deal with. So he needs to conserve his ammunition, ideally go for the heavy horse and do as much damage as possible for the heavy horse, because the Boii don't have any long range skirmishing here. And that means that Duck is pretty much free to snipe cavalry as much as he wants. He is going to keep to start moving up here, and I don't think that's the best idea. Ideally, he would have needed to do more damage to the Boii with horse archers before moving up. Not waste any ammunition with his horse archers on the levy freemen, because these volleys are completely wasted. If you can't get in and snipe the general and snipe the heavy horse, then it might be a better idea to just conserve the ammunition here, because spending arrows on levy freemen is basically a gift to Balor. If you can't get in with your horse archers, then just save them for the engagements and for the late game, so that you're able to snipe generals or to kite cavalry units. Duck is going to start moving up with his Persian cavalry. He needs to be really careful, because if Balor rushes the Persian cavalry with his heavy horse and infantry support, Persian cavalry is just going to be destroyed super quickly. Getting some nice shots in here against axe warriors, but axe warriors are going to die to cavalry charges, so again, they shouldn't be a priority target, neither should the levy freemen. Getting some good shots off into the rear of the axe warriors though, killing quite a few of them. But the general of Llewellyn is just the general of Duck is just completely open here. So I don't know why he's wasting ammunition on these low tier units. Getting some shots off on heavy horse is a good idea, but still the general is just open, and being able to kill the general of a barbarian faction is super important, because none of the units are disciplined, so it's going to be very easy to break them when the general is off the field. Now we're starting to put pressure on the heavy horse with his horse archers. You need to be careful, because these Celtic skirmishers are going to be able to get the volley off, and massive miss micro there by AggonyDuck. He managed to get 5 of his horse archers killed unnecessarily. And again, just riding around and firing at levy freemen, massive waste of ammunition this. Good idea to turn fire at will off when you are up against cheap units like levy freemen. Here the horse archers are moving in, probably going to start firing at the axe warriors again, not using heavy shot. Still, it's killing some axe warriors, but again, I'm not really happy about how Duck is using his ammunition in this battle. He's wasting a lot of ammunition on low priority targets. Persian cavalry trying to move in towards the speed bump levy freeman, but Balor is nicely moving up his heavy horse to intercept. And again, we might see javelins incoming and take out some... Yep, took out one horse archer, but did damage to several horse archers. So that was not good. And again, moving so close to the levy freemen here. Persian cavalry might be able to get a charge here, using his horse archers to block the heavy horse of Balor, but the levy freemen are going to pull back, and that's going to make AggonyDuck pull his own cavalry back as well. Moving his horse archers up to do damage to the heavy horse. Smart move. And this is what he needs to do. He needs to keep doing the damage to the heavy horse to ensure that his cavalry advantage is going to be as decisive as possible. But another miss marker by Duck, losing a lot of horse archers to these axe warriors, killing 8 horse archers with their javelins. So AggonyDuck is making a few mistakes here that could cost him dearly later on. Getting nice shots off against the axe warriors. The axe warriors are becoming more and more depleted. Another javelin volley, but that was just the throwing animation being done because the horse archers moved out of range. But it looks like they're going to move into range again, and if they're not careful, they're going to eat another javelin volley. Duck was able to pull them out though, so nicely done. Again firing at the levy freemen. Man, don't fire at levy freemen unless they are the last unit left on the battlefield. Horse archers moving in. And now the Oathsworn are open. But he's not going to fire at the Oathsworn. Heavy horse open to fire. And again he's losing horse archers to levy freemen. I don't know how much ammunition he has left on his horse archers now, but he's pulling away with his infantry, which is a good idea. He needs more time. If he has more ammunition left, he is going to need more time. Standing up the sword followers, just walking them. This is a waiting game because Balor doesn't want to charge in. AggonyDuck wants to ideally use all of his ammunition on the important units of the Boii. He's still not using heavy shot, which I'm not too happy about, because using heavy shot would boost his missile damage to 40 and give him more armor penetration. That would be very useful against the sword followers. So not really sure why he isn't using heavy shot. He has the range to both use heavy shot and pull away in time. And keep in mind that heavy shot does not actually reduce the accuracy of the missiles at all. Although the tooltip says it, it's not actually going to penalize the unit's accuracy at all. So Persian cavalry coming in against the levy freemen, which is going to allow the axe warriors to get in and destroy Persian cavalry. So that unit of Persian cavalry was pretty much wasted in trying to take care of a unit of levy freemen. Might isolate part of the Boii army though. Lost a lot of Persian cavalry for just killing some levy freemen, so that was not a good exchange for Duck. He's not really able to do the damage that he needs at the range against the Boii. And that was a unit of Persian cavalry off the field. Nicely done there by Balor in recognizing the charge and then moving in to intercept. Another unit of Persian cavalry being sent to its death. And firing into a blob when you have Persian cavalry there is just going to be devastating for the Persian cavalry, because they don't have shields and they don't have a lot of armor. So in these skirmishing, mini skirmishers, in these engagements, it looks like Balor is getting the better of the engagements. He's going to catch the Persian cavalry here with his heavy horse, and this is super bad for Duck. Getting a decent charge here against the heavy horse, but there are so many units of heavy horse rushing in. The Royal Cataphracts are going to start moving in, and ideally they would charge these axe warriors on the move. But Balor is very smartly pulling off his heavy horse here, and is going to go around to surround the Persian cavalry. Nice charge by the Royal Cataphracts against the axe warriors. Sword followers running in. Now the axe warriors got up, and that's going to damage the royal cataphract significantly. Duck doesn't have any units to blunt the charges against his axes now in the center, and that is going to be bad for the axes. He's losing so much cavalry so fast to Balor. But he did manage to get some hillmen into the cavalry fight, and that was very good for Duck. Finally starting to fire on the heavy horse exclusively. But the axe warriors are going to do so much damage to the hillmen. The royal cataphract general took a lot of damage, not getting a lot of kills. Over here we have Persian cavalry being left in the fight with the axe warriors for too long, and because of that they're going to take a lot of casualties. So with shock cavalry like this, it's best to get in, get out, and keep doing that, because they're just taking so much damage from javelins. Firing at the javelins now, charging in with axemen. They're going to do well, but they're going to get charged in the flank by sword followers. So not much that Duck can do now. He's lost so much cavalry, he wasn't able to do damage to the important units of the Boii with his horse archers. And Balor responded well to the small charges of Duck in the beginning. So this battle is going to go to Balor. I think there's no question about that. He still has a lot of cavalry left, he has a lot of infantry. He's going to be able to move around and charge the Cartly axemen in the rear. That's basically it for Duck. There's nothing he can do about this happening now. He didn't have as decisive of a cavalry advantage as he needed. He didn't have the infantry advantage, and this Armenian build just, I don't think it could have worked against a player like Balor on even on Nemetocenna, because not enough skirmishers. The cavalry advantage isn't decisive enough. You see how poorly the Persian cavalry did overall. The heavy horse did very well. The infantry of Armenia didn't really do much. Neither did the infantry of the Boii, but Duck deployed such a small army, 1680 versus almost 2000. So although the kills were fairly similar, it's sort of deceptively low for AggonyDuck, because if you see what he has left, he basically had this unit of axemen left, while the Boii had the general, the sword followers, almost 2 complete units of heavy horse. So a lot left on the field for the Boii, and these axe warriors, in order to do well against sword followers, they need to be supported perfectly, and by wasting his cavalry, then AggonyDuck took away his opportunity to win this battle. Thanks for watching. Strength and honor.